Hi, I'm going to continue with the reading. Actually, I was quite enjoying it. I left off meaning when I was at the cafe, my second night in Beograd, Serbia, when I first met Radovan Karadzic. Upon closer inspection, I realized it was Dr. Radovan Karadzic. I knew he was a psychiatrist. By no means was this to be our our only meeting. Throughout the time I spent in Serbia, Darko met with Radovan Karadzic on many occasions in Beograd. The meetings were usually brief, only to exchange oral information and/or a few papers with Darko or whisper something in each other's ear. He looks just as the new media portrays him. He was dressed, or all the times I met him, he was always dressed in a wrinkled suit, tie was wrinkled, red, blue stripes on it, white shirt, and messy salt and pepper hair. As I said before, his first impression he made upon seeing Radovan Karadzic the first time, I said, God, someone get this man a Russian iron, please. I thought to myself, and that was my first impression. He looks just like his pictures. A couple of times I saw him walk around Beograd. Darko and I pulled up the car to meet with him, and he came over to the window and said a few things. In his, I'm losing my place for the. A couple of times when I saw him, he was just walking in his infamous hat, like the photo I posted below on my website, in the beard. Radovan was always a master of disguise because he was always dressed differently every time I saw him, if I remember correctly. I believe, I can't be sure, but when we went to Ostrog Monastery in Montenegro, I believe the priest that gave me the Ostrog book also. Another book, right? I guess everyone likes to give book gifts there. It looked also like Radovan there, dressed in the black monk's outfit and attire. He was always dressed differently every time I saw him, except when he was in his regular suit, just walking around the street in Belgrade. In his infinite hat, like the photo I posted below on my Google website. Let's see. He was always, Radovan and Ratko, and in fact in Goran Hadjic, they were always perfect gentlemen to me and with me at all times I met them with Darko. After finishing our coffee at the cafe that night, Darko said we had to leave and get a good night's rest because we had to leave early in the morning the next day for his father's house, and then we would be off to Montenegro. We drove all through the night to get there. The next morning, we all piled into Darko's blue Audi. He was always very proud of his car, and we left for his father's house. I remember arguing with Darko about wanting to bring lots of luggage with me and other stuff I felt I needed, but he replied that he didn't even need all that stuff, and I could only bring one normal-sized bag with me, and I had to leave the rest of my stuff and things in his apartment, and I did. On the way to his father's house, Darko made a few important stops for the purpose of giving me the grand tour. We stopped briefly at some military installations. We didn't get out of our car, but Darko pointed out that that's a very important military installation, and we were at the metal fence. We drove up to the gates of the installation. Darko pointed out, "Look, Jill, this is a very important military facility." Darko always sarcastically smirked as he pointed out these important places to me in the Serbian government. The only place we got out and I was allowed to walk in front of was the NATO bombed out Chinese embassy in Beograd. There were Serbian military officers in front of the Chinese embassy that was bombed by NATO. I was amazed, owing to I always thought bombed out buildings by NATO were totally demolished, but when I was standing in front of the Chinese embassy that was bombed out by the NATO in 1999, I really learned the meaning of a quote smart bomb, unquote. I remember looking at the bombed out Chinese embassy and I was astonished and shocked because I thought when you see pictures of Iraq being bombed in shock and awe, and you think everything's demolished, like it's like a demolished building. It wasn't. The only window that was bombed in the building, there were a few below, but it was basically a direct hit, and you had to know that NATO meant to do it, because only that, in that portion of the building, only the Chinese embassy window was shot out. There were still flowers and trees, and the lawn was perfectly trim outside. There was nothing except the Chinese embassy window that was smashed and bombed. NATO had definitely wanted to bomb that window. There was nothing else hurt. I remember I saw the pink Victorian chair inside the window burned, and that had to be there because that was not posted on the news. That there was a pink Victorian style chair, and I wondered who sat there and who died there. I felt very sad when I saw that. Only a portion of the building hosting the Chinese embassy employees on the upper level of the building itself on the right corner of the building itself was demolished and bombed, and in particular the window where the Chinese embassy officials worked. I could see in the window, and I even got a sad glimpse of the Victorian-style pink chair. It was pink in color and merely sitting there empty and burnt. And I could see it through the window. I wondered who used to sit there and if they were dead or alive. No other parts of the building were seriously damaged. There were even flowers and trees still growing untouched in the front of the building. I strongly believe that NATO knew exactly what they were aiming at when they bombed the Chinese embassy in the building in 1999. I brought a digital camera with me on my trip, but upon returning to the United States, all the film Darko claimed to have snatched from me was returned by Pathmark, the local film developer, as blank. I wondered if Darko told me the truth, that he ever did snap a photo for me at all. He never would let himself or Brianna be in the photos, and who took them. Perhaps the shutter remained shut, or he took the film out the night before I left. I'll never really know for sure. We never discussed it. Throughout my trip, he insisted on taking all the photos I wanted, claiming that I take poor pictures myself. I'll stop here.